Hey guys, welcome back. So today I just wanted to make a quick video talking about the new Maybelline Urban Cover foundation because I've been getting so many requests to review that one, and unfortunately I can't because of certain ingredients that are in it. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about that, especially because it's been on my mind lately anyway to talk about this topic because I have a rather large platform with almost 45,000 of you now. So I want to keep you guys informed on topics like this, especially if maybe it's something that you're not necessarily into or, that you don't pay attention to. I know that a lot of people just in my personal life that I've talked to about this had no idea. So what I'm talking about is chemical sunscreens. So the new Maybelline Urban Cover has a chemical sunscreen in it, and there are two main reasons why I'm not using them anymore, and I'll get into that very shortly. But first, just quickly, if you don't know the difference between chemical and physical sunscreens, again, I know so many people that had no clue. They just grab the sunscreen that they like the feel or the texture of the best, and they've been using it for years, and they really had no idea that there was even a difference when it came to sunscreen. So physical sunscreens are made with minerals that are from the earth, zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. And what they do is create a physical barrier on your skin. That's why they're kind of thick most of the time. They have a white cast to them. They're really difficult to rub in usually, but they do block the sun's rays from even penetrating your skin. They kind of sit on top like a barrier. While chemical sunscreens, they usually have a more elegant texture. They're easier to rub in. They feel silkier. They sink right into your skin and kind of disappear. So they're great under makeup. And they work a little bit differently. Rather than just blocking the sun's rays, they actually kind of, like I said, sink into your skin. And then when the sun's rays come down and hit your skin, what they do is kind of break those up and send them back out as heat. So chemical sunscreens work a little bit differently than the mineral ones do. Both are very effective though at preventing skin cancers and aging and just, preventing you from getting any color and the rays from doing any damage to your skin. So both are very effective, but there's two main reasons why I'm no longer using the chemical sunscreens. The first one is that I've become allergic to them, and there is some evidence now that chemical sunscreens are skin sensitizing, which means that over time they can cause you to develop an allergy to them. Now, years ago, I was always using chemical sunscreens. I didn't really have a problem with them. I always used the Neutrogena Sheer Touch one because I liked the texture of it. And like I said before, I didn't really have any clue what the difference was. I chose that one all the time just because, it didn't leave a white cast. It rubbed in really easily. I didn't feel sticky when I was wearing it. So that's the main reason that I chose that one. And I never had issues with it at all. And then 6 years ago, when my son was born and he was a baby, I started using the Neutrogena Pure and Free Baby Sunscreen because it's tear-free. I didn't want it getting into his eyes and causing issues, and I just wanted to use something really gentle. And since I was already using this on him, I figured I would just use it myself rather than buy myself a separate tube. So, at first I didn't really like that this was harder to rub in and it kind of left me looking a little bit white, but I didn't really think too much of it. And this is a mineral sunscreen. This has zinc oxide, while the one that I was using previously was a chemical sunscreen. Now, fast forward to April of this year, we were at Disney and we went to the store to pick up some sunscreen, and I was actually looking for this one because it's just what I've been using the past 6 years, and they didn't have it. So I grabbed the bottle of the Sheer Touch because I knew I had liked that previously, and I thought, you know what, my son's not a baby anymore. Why do I need the tear-free version? He can just use this one with me. Well, after a few days of being there and using it every single day, we started to develop kind of like a mild rash on our arms, legs, pretty much everywhere we put the sunscreen. And by the time we got home, it had developed into a really pretty severe rash. It was bumpy, it was crusty. I mean, it was really gross. And thankfully, when we got back, it was still cold here where we live. So I was able to kind of cover up and put, long sleeves on and pants and things like that. So it wasn't obvious, but it took a good 2 to 3 weeks for it to go away. And I never remembered having an issue like that with sunscreen. I'll actually show you a picture here. This is my son's arm. This is what both of us look like. and it was intense. We were having to take antihistamines just to control the itching because it was unbearable some days where, I just felt like I was constantly wanting to scratch. So I decided at that moment I was not going to be using chemical sunscreens just because of the reaction that I personally had. I'm not saying that, everybody's going to have a reaction to it, but as I said before, the ingredients in them have been known to cause skin sensitivities and irritations. Also, I did not break out on my face because I was using the Coats natural tinted sunscreen primer while I was in Disney. So my face was fine because this one is mineral based, and this is my favorite mineral based sunscreen for the face because it does not leave a white cast and it feels very silky like a primer. I'm not quite sure how they formulate this. The reason that they make it a little bit of a deeper color like this is just to counteract that white cast. Once you rub it into your skin, it pretty much disappears, and it doesn't make you look like you're ill, because I know a lot of sunscreens like this one right here, they almost make you look bluish, like you're sick or something. And I don't mind if it's on the rest of my body, but when it comes to my face, I just don't want my face looking like that. And this Coats one is amazing for that. So it just blends right in. It feels so smooth. It almost like kind of fills in your lines and pores too, because it has that primer-like feel. So I love this and highly recommend it if you're looking for a mineral sunscreen for the face. And the second reason that I'm not using chemical sunscreens is because of a report that the FDA came out with back in February of this year. Now, the FDA normally doesn't regulate cosmetics, but when it comes to sunscreens, they actually do. They're considered a drug. That's why when you look at a label with anything with sunscreen in it, it'll usually say drug facts, and it'll have the active ingredient as the sunscreen, and then the rest of the inactive ingredients down here. So the FDA does actually monitor sunscreens. And I guess there have been some questions raised over the years about the chemical sunscreens and whether or not they get into your system. And as it turns out, they've found chemical sunscreens in people's blood, urine, and breast milk, which was definitely concerning to me. And I'm not sitting here trying to scare anybody, because they don't have any proof one way or the other that these sunscreens getting into our systems actually cause any issues. There's no proof that it causes, cancer or any other ailments. So further testing is needed, and they are just going to continue looking into that. But it's something I think that is important for people to know. And I'm going to link articles down below, because I'm by no means an expert on this. I'm not a doctor, so I want you guys to definitely do your own research. But it's just something that for me personally, I felt a little bit uncomfortable with, especially after having the reaction that I did, that I just don't want these chemicals inside my body. Now, when it comes to mineral sunscreens, they sit on top of the surface of your skin. They do not penetrate. They don't go into your body. So that's why I'm going to be sticking with these. And zinc oxide and titanium dioxide are the only two sunscreens that are generally recognized as safe by the FDA. So the other chemical sunscreens, they are not willing to say that yet until this further testing is done and they're looking into it. But like I said, if you've never had a problem with chemical sunscreens, you don't have reactions to them, I don't think there's any reason at this time to discontinue using them, unless, like I said, you feel personally uncomfortable with the fact that they are going into your body. So it's just something to keep in mind. I just want you guys to be aware of what's been out there in the news as far as chemical sunscreens go. Another thing about them is that they are not the greatest thing for the environment. I know in Hawaii, they're banning a lot of chemical sunscreens from being used on the beaches because they're washing off of people while they're swimming in the water and bleaching the coral reefs. So that's another negative when it comes to chemical sunscreens. So getting back to the Maybelline Urban Cover Foundation, the chemical sunscreens that are in it are the reason why I'm not going to be testing it out and reviewing it for you guys, just because of the reaction that I had. Even if I wasn't concerned about the chemical sunscreens in the body, I just don't want to have a reaction all over my face. That's also why I'm going to be getting rid of a bunch of these foundations that I had in my collection that also contain chemical sunscreens. We have the Physicians Formula Healthy Skin Foundation, the number 7 Lift Illuminate, which I really loved, the Maybelline Fit Me Dewy and Smooth, Also really love this one. The Neutrogena Protectant Tint. We have the CoverGirl Outlast Active and the Rimmel Lasting Finish 25-Hour Breathable Foundation. All of these are ones that I found in my collection that have chemical sunscreens. Now I have been using them in the past and they didn't seem to cause a reaction or make me break out, but just based on what happened when I was at Disney, I'm guessing the reason why is just because I was using sunscreen every single day for days on end. And using these once in a while has never caused an issue for me in the past, but just knowing that I'm sensitive to these ingredients already and also knowing what the FDA is saying about chemical sunscreens, I just don't feel comfortable with it anymore. So even though I have not had a reaction to these yet, I just don't want to take a chance at this point. And another thing I also want to mention too is that the Urban Cover Foundation has been compared to the IT Cosmetics CC Cream. A lot of people are calling it a dupe for this, and it actually is not in terms of the sunscreen because IT Cosmetics uses the mineral ingredients in here. They have a titanium dioxide and zinc oxide blend in this formula. So mineral sunscreen, Urban Cover is chemical. So that's one big point of difference and why I think I will just stick with the IT Cosmetics, either the CC Cream or the Bye Bye Foundation. Both of these are mineral based. And then as far as recommending some mineral sunscreens for you guys, I don't have a lot of them yet. Like I said, I have been using this one for many years, but I really want to start trying out some other versions. Maybe they have some tinted versions for the body similar to the Coats. As I said before, I love this Coats one for my face. I use it constantly and I think it's fantastic. Also, I just recently got this one from G9 Skin at Kohl's. This is a sunscreen cushion, and this one is also mineral-based sunscreen. It's just kind of like those cushion foundations, but it's actually a sunscreen slash primer, and I've used this a couple of times now, and it really doesn't seem to leave a white cast. It's very thin and fluid. It goes right in. It's not hard to apply to your face. The only thing that I will say, though, is that I don't see this really as a primer. It didn't seem to do anything as far as blurring pores or making my skin look smoother. This one does, but if you're just looking for a straight sunscreen and you don't care about using it as a primer, this is really awesome and it's affordable as well. Also, like I said, the IT Cosmetics CC Cream, if you don't want to apply a separate sunscreen, this one on its own works great. You just have to make sure that you apply enough of it to get the coverage. Otherwise, I would layer it with another sunscreen. All right, guys, so that about sums it up. This wasn't meant to be a huge kind of comprehensive video on sunscreen, but I did want to let you know just how I felt about it and certain things that I've learned the past couple of months about chemical sunscreens. Jen Loves Reviews actually did a really awesome video on sunscreen last week, so I'll link that down in my description box so that you can check that out. If you haven't, she goes through all the different details and ins and outs of chemical versus physical sunscreens. I just really wanted to address the reason why I wouldn't be trying the Maybelline Urban Cover, just because I've been getting so many requests for it and I don't want you guys to be disappointed or wonder why everybody else is reviewing this particular product and I'm not. But I will also leave some links down below just to different articles about the new FDA findings, as well as other articles about chemical versus mineral sunscreens that I found interesting. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, let me know down in the comments below if you've ever had any issues with chemical sunscreens or which type you like to use. I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.